You might be interested to know that in this first edition of Fox's Book of Martyrs, there were 60 woodcut illustrations demonstrating, for those who were not as literate to read, what was happening to professing Christians, Protestant Christians, non-Roman Catholic Christians, or within the Roman Catholic Church disagreeing with things in the Roman Catholic Church, who were mercilessly tortured, executed, persecuted, burned alive. And so these woodcuts were the modern equivalent to very graphic illustrations. In the second edition of Fox's Book of Martyrs, it was divided into 2 volumes, and there was added 150 woodcuts. The point I'm making about this is it had huge influence. It let the common people know the abuses that were going on. It fueled their conscience to say, no, we will not be persecuted. We will not be treated like that. It supported the Protestant Reformation in their plea to say, to Jesus we answer in our conscience, and not to be coerced by threats and violence and persecution. Now, what is also very interesting is that during this time, I found this cross-pollination going on. There are a lot of names, and again, there are references to names and works in the essay, of those who are contending and growing in their sense of freedom of conscience, liberty of conscience, but they are either unorthodox or non-Christians. They're contending for a political and social freedom of conscience or liberty of conscience. And I found what was really interesting that there's at least a couple of common points in which they reject Orthodox Christianity. The doctrine of original sin, which we heard about this morning, which is just absolutely necessary and essential to this matter of conscience before God. So their rejection of the doctrine of original sin, and there are also questions and surreptitious uncertainties or even outright objections to the doctrine of the Trinity. And so, as I said, you might be surprised at some of the names that are in that list and some of the works that have become so influential and really referenced and stalwarts within what we know to be the American experience in leading up to the Constitution, and particularly the First Amendment.